Yes, you can call it your country, but deep down, we know that is not yours. Today we're fighting for land, and we've got Land Act of Zbani that was put in section of. I am tired personally of speaking a foreign language that came with the settlers in our place of birth. Now, these people came with the Bible. We are using the Bible as African people now, right? You sometimes go to your prophet, then they'll take a Bible, literally, open it, and where your fingers are at on that specific verse, where you had opened, it speaks to you. Why? Why does it speak to you? Because we are not the authors of that black book as an African person. It will speak to us, Nziki, because we are the descendants of those who sold out the altar, the sacred of an African spirituality. They took it and they want to speak with them. There is no way they could have taken our land from our ancestors or from the way we're doing things without the first corrupt ones who sold imfihlo of an African person. The leadership of this country doesn't take people serious. The only time they want people, it is when they go and give them food parcels just to vote. Vote for what? Because themselves, they don't own this land.
In a world where Africans have lost their roots, it has become of vital importance to document our ways. In an effort to reverse the brainwashing of the past, where we were made to believe our ways are demonic, we are pressed to create dignified and respectful platforms to unpack our spiritual ways. Moya O Light, Moya O Bright, welcome back to Moya Political Series, where we bring you guests that will help you say the clever things in class. It's always a privilege, guys. Thank you so much for everybody who has subscribed. Thank you especially to the members, because that little 20 rand is really helping us. And thank you so much for watching the adverts, guys. You're doing so amazing. We thank you. So today we've got a human rights activist, MAMA AFRIKA. I don't even, we only know you as MAMA AFRIKA. I'm sure even the streets, Gunjalo,
Yeah.
And the reason that they know you as MAMA AFRIKA is because of your human rights work, your social activism. You are very much on the ground. We speak about women in politics, and people don't have the context of actually the mobilizing woman, the one who's connecting here. And I know that you come from EFF background, and even on the MK underground. So I don't know, can you give us a little bit of that element of you?
Okay, Tamaku, Mancale ngibonge idalweni zakini zakwamazwayi, zakwankosi, South Africa, amakhwinikazi, indlovukazi zonke ecamagwini. Thank you so much, Nziki, for the opportunity. Ngegama lokuzalwa ngobuhle, ngizalwa kwaNkosi, and I'm married to Tshomela. However, I'm known as MAMA AFRIKA because of my activism. And it started at the age of 18, and guess what? I'm 48 years now. I've been in this. So I gained the name MAMA AFRIKA because of the things that I would do and things that I wasn't even aware that I was actually helpful to other people. So it went on and on. By the way, I was raised by Umkhulu, who was born and bred in Zimbabwe, but who was working here in South Africa, who got married to my grandmother, Umkhulu Maphosa. So I think for me to unleash or to experience this activism that I am, I would say Tamaku to him, Nalalele Khona. I had a grandfather who was not ignorant. I had a grandfather who would give us maybe a book and say to us, if you finish this book by the week, ngizokupha izuka. You remember at that time, izuka was 5 cents. It was motivational, and he would say, and in hours before engizibekile, I promise you ngizokunikeza 2 rand. Come to think, ngizoba nemali yephepha. So I had listened to every stories that he would tell me about human nature, of course, and the difference between white people and black people, because I did not understand every time my mom will take me to Edrobeni in Johannesburg, then we don't have to sit with these people and again or different than other kids. I would leave my mom there and I'll go to that white woman and say, hi. Is that you, Mlungu? Is your name Mlungu? You know, me, I'm Buhle, I'm Mundu. Then, you know, my mom will quickly rush to remove me from those people. And yet, I did not see a color. I did not see what could be the difference actually between these two human beings. Yeah, so the name Mama Afrika really, I honor it njenami because igama engaliphiwa when I was busy nabo mama badala in Soweto at that time, who were running an organization that was called Soweto Concerned Residents, who were fighting for meter tabs bengafuni ukuthi afakwe eSoweto at that time. So I was the youngest and I will join them. Then they'll give me a picture and it's where do they think we get the money from? Because remember, I also have the background stories that my grandfather was telling me, why white people are superior than us. So it always been, you know, election they'll say equal. It always had equal for me, and I did not want to subscribe myself to what they've lowered themselves to call they are superior than us. I don't have a superiority person in my life except for uqamatha, yes, neyithunywa neyidalwa zase-Africa. So that's why ngithi, for me to be called Mama Afrika, really it's an honor. You go to emakasi, eMasoweto, you'll find that those who are calling me Sis Africa. You go to Bopalabora, Bampitsa MA, you know, Bomma A, which is Mama Afrika. You go in different places, they call me different, but yes, I am Mama Afrika. In Orange Farm, you come, you find a kid, 3-4-year-old. You ask her, oh, mother A, they will bring you to my house. That's how far my activism, I connect with the community. I connect with the ills and the challenges. I'm actually community orientated. From Cape to Cairo, Nzigi, it has never been a problem with me. That is why I've decided Ngina 22, I'm taking this road of being a human rights political activist, and I am taking this road of being a voice of the voiceless, and I am taking this road to be a mediator between those who did not go to school and those who went to school. I decided, let me work the ground so that there's an understanding between these two. Remember, we've got people that didn't get education, not even informal education. So I take myself, I am that person. And let me say this, if government was clever enough, they would really have a cabinet of people like myself who understands abantu baselokishini, igazi, and the line between the academics, the learned ones, the actual, the ones that are guided also by wisdom. You understand? So that is where I am, Nzigi, with life. That is me with my politics. That is me with my activism. There's a huge gap. There's a huge gap. That is why every time, no matter how much we can vote for a country or for a president or for a political organization that we love, as long as we don't have people that will be Masakula Besiti when all over in the middle, to be the one who can make these two integrate we will never win South Africa, or will never win a land that we are crying for today.
So then what happens in your, because I think when you were with those mothers, when you were fighting Amamita, that's your late teenage years. Because I want us to capture what have you done politically?
Okay.
Like, what have you been doing?
Okay, at that time, I was young, obviously, and I'll just listen to labo mama bekhuluma bayasilanyela thina. We are not saying asifuna ukuthenga amanzi, but we are saying we want flat rate, which at that point in time, they were willing to pay 10 rand, which it was affordable for the whole community. Remember, Tina, we are raised by communities, not by individual parents. So we knew in the community, we wouldn't want to see if Unsiki is higher than MAMA Afrika, or MAMA Afrika is higher than, but we wanted to be seen as a collective, equally so. Hence, because we did not know ukuthi rich. They don't have money. So we're fighting for that. Just again to also defend the dignity of a black person that we know in that house they would never afford to pay or to buy water. Hence we're saying flat rates. So I had to be their spokesperson at that time with the city of Johannesburg. And you know, the way I was talking too much, I didn't even know when did this thing start and how did they, but because of it was talking about the human's dignity, I had to join. I ran with them. We went to the city of Johannesburg, we doi, we had marches, but at the end, they won because even the local government forced to go and put those meter boxes in their house. They removed them physically so, and without help of any man. Without help of any man. There were just these women who were ready to die.
When
if
was
they
this?
have what year is this? 2024. I think early your 2016, your 2014. Yes.
Which
back
community?
Then. It was in Pirimapetla, Yozolamdeni.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay.
I was rolling nalabo mama, and then I remember the chairperson at that time, Behu Mama Besimbizu Mam Eunice, who was actually from Orlando, but she had power to actually unite women from all over the place in Soweto. They actually the women that reminded me, ukuthi mntana bheka la, if Soweto sneezes, the whole country will catch a flu. So catch a wake up. No one will do us anything. In an actual fact, we are liberating the whole of South Africa. That if we go through with this 10 rands thingy, then everybody will have to pay the flat rate. Then we are bringing dignity again to a black African person. No one would be able to say, I can't afford to buy water, like I can't afford to buy electricity now in Orange Farm. It is wrong what they are doing. So my activism was based on that. And again, before that, Nzigi, I was raised nabomalume, you know. Abomalume they were young. I had umalume Luka, who was a student at the school in Midlands, Veritas. At that time, they were courses, you know. And when they would go do their toys or babamba target, you remember that time they were targets, 1982, 1989. I would follow them. I would run them for and by the time they see me, it's too late for them to actually send me back home. What they're doing, I'm there. They will be carrying those crates, Zama, Yoki Sip at that time, milk. We are going to distribute them in the townships and Kubanjwe target, which is the cars from the WMC. Because we were actually, I was hearing them, you know, these people actually, they're fighting for real stuff. Why must we learn with Africans, Maravele? Kind of what is Africans going to do for them? And my mom speaks Afrikaans. Makano Mrs. Churchill. And why must we call them Mrs. Churchill? But when they call my grandmother, Bambiza Meki. So all those things, I grew up in a home, they were spoken. They were not hidden things. Hey, now Buhle Tulani. Maybe at that point in time, Bona, they did not know that I was actually listening to their conversation. They took it, in Black African families, but umntwana kezwa next. And yet at that time, Mina, I had grabbed so much. And I remember my grandfather used to be, should I say, haunted. But you could see she was not at ease when he was talking about this man, Verwoed. And I had to go to my grandmother and ask my granny, who is Verwoed? Why is Mkulu always talking about Verwoed? And why is that? Why is he angering my grandfather so much? Then my granny would say, hey, shh, those are not the things you're going to talk in the streets. You see all these hippos that are going up and down. They're looking for people who are talking bad about Verwoed. But who is Verwoed? Then they just told me, no, he's a former president. Wada. Nsiki, as I grow now, me trying to make my own researches about this Verwoed, a young man who came to South Africa, who was not even South African. Came to be South African president, came to change laws, zabotamkhulu, camako, kulabo bantu, came to change laws of izindlovukazi zase-Afrika. And then they decided, ukuthi, we're not going to allow them to name their place. Kaloku thina, we are living in a country that doesn't have a name. I'm not sure if you know. Or maybe now you are just proud to say you are a South African. That is a location, my dear sister, in Africa. It's a continent. We are staying in the south of this continent. How come we don't have a name as a country? But again, that is why we hear that we are listed gupi somewhere over the seas. Hence, we are listed because we are just, but EPTY LTD, that anybody doesn't care. There's people like it. We are a country with people inside Ntsiki who are fighting for land, which I always struggle to sleep. How did this land got lost by them before they could actually balifune back? Every time the answer that I'm getting, my sister, it's like you confronting your boyfriend or your husband's girlfriend, as to say, ujola nendoda yami, and her answer would be oh, of course, yes, I was worried because you'd say to me, as long as I don't sleep with him. It's like somebody saying that to us. Yes, you can call it your country, but deep down, we know that is not yours. Today we're fighting for land, and we've got Land Act of Bani that was put in section of. I am tired personally of speaking a foreign language that came with the settlers in our place of birth. Remember, Nzigi, they are saying they came with a Bible and they took the land. What is the story behind this Bible before it was actually being authored? The black African masses that will understand us. We need to think and deep dig, more deep about how did that happen, because why I'm saying this. Remember, in the spirituality of an African person, we believe, it's a topic of another day, we believe in different religions, which now these people came with the Bible. We are using the Bible as African people now, right? You sometimes go to your prophet, then they'll take a Bible, literally, open it, and where your fingers are at on that specific verse, where you had opened, it speaks to you. Why? Why does it speak to you? Because we are not the authors of that black book as an African person. It will speak to us, Nziki, because we are the descendants of those who sold out the altar, the sacred of an African spirituality. They took it and they want to speak with them. There is no way they could have taken our land from our ancestors or from the way we're doing things without the first corrupt ones who sold imfihlo of an African person. Hence the Bible today, it can speak to you, Nziki. Yes, we are not a Bibleist. I am not a Jesus person personally, but I do believe kumveli nqangi. Ngiyakholelwa kuye. And I don't believe ekuthandazeni Nziki because I don't know ukuthi ngithandaza ini. So ngiyakhuleka namanje ngiyakhuleka endlovukazini zase-Afrika zisincede because imfihlo was stolen. Hence, it is easy for an African person to fall into this Bible, because there is
something resonates.
Exactly.
It's us.
Can we not be blind? Or can we not be blinded by the character that was made with Jesus Christ and neglect that black book? Why are they calling it black book? Why is it black, Nziki? I once said to my husband and my children, you'd find out we are the actual animals. The actual human beings are animals, but it's a topic of another day. So you don't believe everything that you go and learn from a white man. It's dangerous. The only thing that we need to go and do from those institutions, we cannot be institutionalized by them, but we need to go and get the weapons that will come back and fight them with to get what is rightfully ours. That is the only other way. And also the way of acknowledging who we are. Siphumaphi, sizalwa ngobani, where are we going as a black nation? Then we'll understand into your land. Remember, let me just, for clarity's sake, let me just say 20,000 years back, we had women that prayed. And they were praying to Ubani Uqamata, which I have a problem with today's black African people who decides to kill Uqamata and rise Jesus Christ as their king. That is why we won't get our land back, sis. Because we've made izithunywa nezidalwa zethu angry. We've angered them. Even though they are still trying, okay, let us do them umusa, let's give them favor and create a big, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to make an example with this. Let's create this thing called African National Congress. When ANC was made at that point in time, back then, it wasn't because those people were from varsities, those people had PhDs, those people. No, it's Amaku no Amata that came through their mind and they spoke and they saw a need to talk about an African child. In an actual fact, I could just say they were getting prepared as to say Nizazi because there's war that is coming, which it is where we are today, while we are saying we're fighting for our land. We have land crisis. We have people who are being evicted from their homes. Their homes, you know, let me start by saying, who owns the land where the banks or the property developers would come and say, this is my land, I'm going to build houses, then sell this. Who gave them that land? Because even in that Bible that we are saying the white people reads, it says the earth belongs to God and everything and everyone that is in it. Now, my question is, how and when, who gave them so much authority over human beings that are living in the same land that we all found in existence? Kaloku siyithole apha ntsiki. No one came with land on this earth. Then you find young people working hard for themselves, go to the banks, taking a bond. Then 10 years down the line, life happens. They have been paying without any problems. Life happens. The very bank comes and take that house, that land that she has already announced to her ancestors that now this is our home. We want to live better. I want you to protect this land, wara, because we know we do all those things. We create altars in our yards. Then they just come. Where is the dignity of a black person? Amadlozi, do you think they will ever listen to us? Because no, Nziki, we have allowed it to happen. We have allowed it to happen. This thing of vote, we need to start asking, why are we voting? What is the reason for us to vote? Because it is like, for me, we're voting for individuals to be semi-gods of other people when they are owning land. When they are owning land, just name one minister who doesn't own land and tell me how many black African people in this country owns land. How many? Because even those who are staying in Soweto, they were given 99 years lease. 99 years lease. Then you die within that 99 years. You have 2 children that you bear from that house. They lose that house because you did not make 99 years lease. That house belongs to a Joburg municipality. That house gets to be sold. In other cases, you even get councillors from the place assisting those who are corrupt just to sell that house. And then you find your children homeless. Where will they call on their ancestors, Nziki? Esigangeni. Who is going to hear them? The land issue is broad, my dear sister. We're not going to get land anytime soon. The EFF tried to say to the people, we are going to get our land back. You know what happened? People went to grab land. For what? For a room that we can use as our bathroom. And they're calling that home. We have grabbed land. Come on. And you think your ancestors will take you serious, or the ancestors in Dlovgazi, the queens of this continent will be proud to say, no, we can therefore give an altar to one of them. It is safe. We can see that we are taking Africa somewhere. It won't happen. It won't happen, because even those land grabbers that they're grabbing, nothing good comes out of it. You'll find rape, you'll find murder, robbery. Then you tell me, which land are we talking about?
You know what always happens is that the black privilege and the middle class who are speaking on behalf of the black majority who are not privileged don't have a They don't know the lived experience. So this is far away. Like, can you give us examples of things that people are going through?
Let me just give you this example, starting with your current government, how they don't even care about their people. I'm sure you know Kliptown. It's an old settlement. I grew up walking to Kliptown, going to buy inkuku. You know, our grandparents will send us to buy mini groceries in Kliptown. It was actually a town in the township for black people that was staying in that area. You know, we grew up, Kliptown was Kliptown, dusty streets of Kliptown. But it was okay because it was generating economy for people who were living in Kliptown and 5 kilometers radius amongst Kliptown. Until your government decided that no, we need to change the entire Kliptown, to change it for a better place, you know, and to change the very informal settlement of Kliptown to become formal. So we'll build the white elephant, we'll build houses, we'll build so that our people can live in dignity. It was a successful meeting. People clap hands, and it happened in Sigimaswai. They built the new Kliptown. But little that we did not see, it was that now the power was now taken from the people. Economic power. It was taken now from the shops, everything. Now they're building the shops that if you don't have 20,000 rands for deposits, you cannot have business in Kliptown. It was built, it was beautiful, the flats. I, for one, am one of the people who went to stay there. But when the flats were now ready for occupation, there were adverts that were saying if you were earning a minimum salary of 3.5, from 1.5 to 3.8, you're a correct person, beneficiary to come and stay in these flats. But now the question was, but they said they were turning the informal to formal. These people don't have a 1.8 to 3.8. You know, as much as most of them, but saying say spinach, they're selling kip-kips, that is for them to feed their families. You understand? Not for them to go and pay for. Fast forward to that, we applied, I stayed there, which we got the lease agreements that were saying to us, okay, this is the deal. The clause 4.1, I can't remember it correctly, but it stated after a minimum period of 4 years, the unit shall be transferred to the beneficiary. The beneficiary now is the person who's paying, meaning we are staying in a rent to buy now, which, okay, it's a progressive. We are not coming far from Kliptown. We're just 5 kilometers radius away from Kliptown. We're in Pimville. We are like the beneficiaries of Kliptown. We stayed there in Tsiki a year, everything was smooth. And there were people from that side who came to stay with us, those who were affording to stay there. But after a period of a year, you know, things started being steepy, and now we see the exorbitant amounts of rents that we need to pay now. You said from 1.5 to 3.5 now, but you're saying my rent is 3,500 a month. What are you saying to me? And at that time, your government is not administrating. They tendered that to a social housing company that is called Georgco. That was run by a Jewish guy, Rory Gallagher, at that time. Now, this guy is the one now who sent to the black African people, whom they forgot that they had slaughters. So many cows in Kliptown celebrating this establishment that we are moving together, we can do better. The slogan of the government at that time. Nsigi, I had to intervene personally. I started mobilizing everyone from the informal settlement. I started mobilizing the leaders from that site. At that time, they were running an organization that was called Kliptown Concerned Residents. I mobilized them, I found them. The chairperson at that time was Vaughan, a colored guy. And he was working with double Sipo judges, good activists. People that are actually the people that we should be leading a parliament today if the truth had to be told. We were with our mom Eunice. People were supposed to be advocating for black unity and black challenges in the parliament. We had our mom Pope at that time. Our mama Badala were actually very strong to say, no, we should do this. We are behind you 100%. I gathered them together, then we said, what do we do? Because there is no point for us to fight. As we can see, they've already created a divide and rule, a wall between us and the people from the informal settlement. We mobilized. We interdicted the president. At that time, the president was Mr. Jacob Zuma, that we want him with immediate effect to come and reverse all this nonsense that is done by Kliptown. It is not the initial announcement when they were slaughtering and promising people that they were going to live better life. We're not heard. Then we decided we needed an advocate maybe to come, maybe with the legal advice, maybe us making noise, they're not hearing us. Can't we making an impact? Why? We boycotted that rent, and there was another establishment also in the golf course that was busy in construction. Then we mobilized people from Kliptown. We said, we are one. We cannot be played by a Jewish man who doesn't know our sufferings, who doesn't know where Kliptown comes from, who only knows it Kliptown when is this white elephant. We have to do something that the government will see that we are serious. We mobilized people, we took people. We took people from their shacks. We have put them in that other settlement that was still under construction. The way others that were finished, we put people there. We, in the flats, we boycotted rent. Then there were RDP houses that were built in Kliptown Zone 14. I'm not sure if you know Zone 14. Just after Maponya Mall, there's a settlement behind Kenny's Brick and Tile. There's huge RDP houses from there to Kliptown. Guess what Mama Afrika did? We embarked on a campaign of database of all the grannies that had imikuku that were not properly done, those who were sleeping, because we have people who are sleeping in the shacks that are covered in plastics and even today in Kliptown.
What?
I'm telling you. I mobilized in Ziggy and people came through, and the legislator at that time was thinking, then I told him, I'm going to prove you, because you are sitting here and you are not even going to introduce yourselves into people. Why are you called Gauteng legislature? What is it that you can assist them with? There was nothing, but I created something. About more than 60 families that we took to occupy those houses in those RDPs, and they were not moved till today. But the sad part is that when we moved some of those rightful beneficiaries, they were illegal immigrants that took advantage of the situation, who went to occupy most of those RDP houses that I'm talking about in Kliptown. When people from Kliptown are still living in that squander, I don't even know how to label that place. It saddens me. But let me tell you something. You would never do nothing to me with people from Kliptown because they know we've shared same struggles. We've shared the truth with them, not because of we could not pay rent, but because of we could see that the leadership of this country doesn't take people serious. The only time they want people, it is when they go and give them food parcels just to vote. Vote for what? Because them themselves, they don't own this land in Ziki.
Then what happened? So what happened in the end?
In the end, I got arrested. Yes. I was arrested, and when I got arrested under the false pretense of I was bombing the tent of the birthday of Nelson Mandela that was going to be in Kliptown. But because it's Kulumamanga, at that time I was giving birth to my daughter. I was in hospital. Now it was a contradiction. Oguti, how do I give birth and bomb at the same token? At the same time, it doesn't make sense. I came back from hospital, Ntsiki. I did not know that they had planned this evil for me and my comrades. Just when my daughter was 15 days, we hear this massive knock. I wonder what is happening. When my husband opened the door, it was tons of police, traffic officers, security privates that we don't even know, with R4s, AK-47, pointing at, and they said, we are looking for Buhle Tshomela. And I said to them, I don't know who's Buhle Tshomela. Little that I have forgotten that I was wearing a t-shirt that was written Buhle and Frank Tshomela. That was me and my husband. That is what they caught me. Then I said to my husband, please take care of the kids. Then they said, who said your husband? We're leaving him behind. When I went out of the flats trying to get my neighbors to take care of my little ones, because at that time my firstborn was only 8 years old and my second one was only 3, and I had a baby who was 15 days. I found they're all arrested. Then I'm asking myself, are we still living in the apartheid era, or is this the new democratic?
What year is this country?
I'll tell you now. 2002. I'm young, I just got married. Yes, I'm an activist, but I was never arrested before. Then they put us in the vans, took us to Kliptown police station. They took fingerprints. Then we're asking, why are we arrested? Yeah, you bombed the Mandela tent. What? But when? Guys, now you're only arresting us after 2 weeks. If really that is what we did, no, you go and speak to the judge. We got arrested, Ntsiki. We were put into holding cells for 2 days until we had an advocate, Advocate Ngwangela, who was an advocate of that NWA Gateway flat saga thing in Cape Town, I think in the year 2000. Then I managed to go home, but the rest of the comrades went to Sun City. Yes, I went home because I had a baby that I had to breastfeed. Then fast forward to that, my ladies got me Weber and Wenzel. Weber and Wenzel assigned Mr. Murray, who was my advocate, who took the Kliptown matter forward. Ntsiki. You know, it is said that Verwoed laws or systems, it is what we still live at this day and age. So you look at people saying we are free, we live in a democratic country, what with your big English? We are not. When we got arrested, it wasn't funny. We're beaten in those cells. We're asked, who do we think we are? Do you know what happened to your ANC? Were you in exile? Yeah? Wow. What do you know about black rights? Wow. What do you know about... It wasn't nice. But because we had to swallow that because we wanted to be out of these cells. We couldn't talk back. You had no camera. You had nothing that was going to be your witness or witness to what you were going to lay charges after. So Murray tried, and then the city of Johannesburg said, you cannot stand for clip down. That's the conflict of interest. You know, we have cases with Weber and Wenzel, which are government cases. Then at that time, we did not know what to do because we're going to the High Court. Yes, the matter went to High Court. I was appearing in the court of Judge Gelden Hayes. Yes, the one that I asked, if I may ask a question, my lord. Then he said, yes, and my lord, is it compulsory that I call you my lord? Then he said to me, are you trying to be smart? Then I said, no, my lord. I want to understand, my lord, because which I did not call on them when I got into your box. So I want to know, is it because of you are a lord, or is it the law that says we must call you my lord? I was arrested on that day just for saying that they said they must keep me in custody for 24 hours. I was not respecting the court of law, which it was a question, a genuine one. I really wanted to know, because I don't understand this thing of lordship, my lord, your worship, your. As much as I'm a student in Tsiki of human rights, which I'll be an advocate one of these days, if it permits. But I don't like it. I don't see why people should call people my lord. Sihluleka as African people to say this person is really led by the entourage of power. But we can't acknowledge them, but we can acknowledge, Abo my Lord, the semi-gods of this world. So hence, before I divert too much, Helenace, I came back, he asked me did I now know the law? Then I said, yes, my Lord, I've learned.
Can I ask something? Sorry to disturb you.
Oh, sorry,
yeah,
my microphone.
Yeah.
Then the second time I appeared, I was asked, did you learn the law, or do you still need more teachings? Then I said, no, my Lord, I've learned my lesson. It wasn't nice. It wasn't nice, but I did not stop. I pursued a human rights court, which the report came back to say they don't see anything that needs human rights court attention. They don't see anything with regards to human dignity. People must just pay their rent. If they can't pay their rent, there's nothing that they can do. The question or the defense that we're seeking was not because people could not pay their rent, but it was, please intervene here. These are the papers that states we are turning the informal settlement to become a formal settlement. We are not talking parables. We're talking something that was written by them, the very government that is calling us anarchists. You can go with me to Gauteng High Court. When I land in that entrance, you'd see security moving. You'd swear ukuthi kungena Bin Laden in Afghanistan with bombs in that court. I don't know why. Because maybe I was the only young black child who asked the judge after an attorney from Weber, not Weber and Wenzel, this Afrikaner, I even forgot, Verwoed is the name of that attorney, who was from this racist Afrikaner company in Bramfontein, attorney, law firm attorney something. You know, he came in that court and he said, my lord, you know, I'm serving the 8th bar now in this court of law and I've never failed. I've won all my cases. So you do not take these people serious because I've been serving with this judiciary and I've brought nothing but winnables cases. Then I had to stand. Then my advocate said, no, but you should ask these questions through me. Then I said, no, I don't think you'll put it the way I would want to ask the judge. So if I'm permitted or not, I'm going to lift up my hand as if we are in a meeting or a caucus, you know. Then as the judge was writing, I said, yes, Tshomela. Then I said, no, my lord, if this court can permit me, I have a question, a follow-up question. I said, follow-up on what? Then I said, on what Mr. Verwoed has just put forward in this court of law. Then he said, okay. He looked at Verwoed. It was like he was looking for a go-ahead from this Verwoed, if should I allow her or not. Then, then that is when I asked the question, are the merits of this court case, yes, a clip down, going to be based on who served, on how many years within this judiciary or whatever your language is, my lord, with due respect? I want to know if the statement that is said by the Verwoed right now was correct, especially for the person who is leading the pack of uneducated people from the informal settlement, who doesn't have a degree in law. Is that statement judicially correct? If I am correct to even ask that, my lord. So it cannot be, Nsigi, also that we vote, each and political party, they're speaking land disposal, land expropriation, land. It's tiring. The land is gone. We have people in parliament who tend to be system when they get to parliament. They follow system. Yes, they become systematically when they get to parliament. They want to follow, if I may put it like this, the education that they got from the very same WMC that we are saying we are fighting. From the very Dutch or Roman systems that we are saying we want to change, but they're following it. I don't recall seeing radical MPs in that National Assembly who one day can just rise and say, I am rising on a point of order. And when they are asked, what is your point of order? And that person says, no, with due respect, Madam Speaker or Speaker, can you stop with that question and engage with what is burning at hand? Like we had 6 kids that died instant in Soweto. And we had that they were dying from amazimba that they bought from my friend. We don't have a radical MP that can just say, this is a state of emergency, Madam Speaker. Can we pause whatever the parliament was going to talk about today, but talk about the crisis that has happened to an African child? No. Or you challenge an MP that can just say, with due respect, Speaker, Mr. President, what are you saying about all these illegal immigrants that were found training in military in your country without you knowing? Can we talk about that? Because people on the ground want to know, what are you saying? Kaloko, the National Assembly, it is what is holding this South Africa. It is representing each and everyone on this country that doesn't have a name, by the way. So therefore, they should represent what will make people to trust them. People don't trust people in Pali, let alone the ANC. They don't trust our leaders because we don't even have one leader that acknowledges ukuthi konje ngimnyama. I need to acknowledge umuntu omnyama so that iqamaku can lead me to success. Hence, you see they taking each other to court. They do corruption together, they taking each other to court. They are leaking what they are doing. It is because of they've been doing it for self-enrichment. They have forgotten why they are there. In actual fact, I'm not even sure the parliamentarians know why they are there. Let me tell you this, Ntsikinje. Let me speak about Gauteng. Do you know that Gauteng, 80% of Gauteng belongs to the people of Gauteng, yet people don't even know that they are the rightful owners of Gauteng? Ask me how. We have an organization in Sebokeng. It's called WECO. WECO is Veldebier's Everton Community Organization. This organization, it's old. It's old. I don't know how did this old man found me, but they found me. That is how I know about them. WECO is an organization that has a title deed of the owners of this land, which I think it starts from the Val, but I know it's 80% of Gauteng, 20% of Northwest. The way the Royal Bafokeng fought for their land, and it's the very way that the Gauteng people don't know that the land belongs to them. The land was given back by Mrs. Adams, who was a daughter of Verwoed's descendants, those who came when they took over our land. What happened that they made her to marry a white Afrikaner Buhle person. Then in exchange, they actually gave them a present. This land will belong to you. 80% of Gauteng, it was given to this two couple, Mr. and Mrs. Adams. Yes. Now the husband died. Then the wife wanted to go back to Britain. Then the wife said to the Afrikaner, I am Mrs. Adams, decides to go back to Britain, where I come from. However, I would love to give back the title deeds to the owners, which the owners are the natives that were born, who are living in the very land of Veldebiersfontein Farm. Fast forward to that, we had this old man who went to the Lands Claim Court. The judge there, I think it was Judge Baum, the late Judge Baum. There is a claimant of this Gauteng land. I'm sure at that time, Tiki, I was 24 years. My signature is also part of those who are claiming for this land, that the land belongs to us. We know there is a title deed that is written in black and white. We are not English, but we don't need translation of transferring the land back to the natives. We are the natives. I don't recall ANC being natives only, or DA being natives. We are natives. We, black people that were born and brought up in this very land. We are the beneficiaries of that land. Fast forward to that, the government managed to manipulate and created another structure that was called WECA. Then they took another guy by the name of December, which is late, may his soul rest in peace, because he was also trying to divert from into Yetamaku, selling out again. They managed to get a few number of people. They were compensated Emakoneni for this vast big land. Kaloku, this land, when it has to be given to us, Nsigi, we need to be paid of all the things that are on it. Now, it trouble it alalapo, Goldfields doesn't want to see us. DPS doesn't want to see us. Because they know, Sisi, they know that the land doesn't belong to government, but to the natives of this Gauteng province. So I always feel so sad, people from other provinces or from all over the place, when they come to Gauteng, it's like we're going to Gauteng, kwanomakubani, kwanomazenzela. I take those old people who are white today, they've got white hair, by the way, now where they are. I take them serious because they are the beneficiaries, they are the chiefs of this land, and yet they're not taken serious. Instead, when you think it's been taken serious, there's justice in it, it's into systematically, there's other people who are coming and make it a money scheme business. It's a huge thing in Sigimazwai. So when we talk land, we need to know as people, what are we talking about? What is it that we want? We cannot just grab land and say, I'll just put a spinach or raw. Let me just go buy 2 chicklets, then I'll have chickens. No. This land had owners even before. The owners that we need still to go back and ask for the forgiveness of those, again, who did wrong, who sold out, who stole the imfihlo, the altar of an African person to these abokhamba. Then we can talk land. It will be very easy. We would never speak these big bombastic words that other people don't understand. We have abantu abadala in the rural areas who owns land. But when we go there and say, hey, we need to talk about land redistribution, we need to talk about land disposal. They don't know what we are saying, Tsiki. They've been owning that land. There was no white person or these white beautiful words that we go and get from these beautiful institutions that we don't even know what they're teaching us nonsense or what, and come and boast to Dala who doesn't understand. Then we are saying we want land. It won't work. So that is why my activism, I take it very serious, because if we want to go forward as Indlu Emnyama, we need to understand each other. Somewhere, somehow, there must be a common ground, whether educated, uneducated, black elite, or you're poor, or you're white. That gap amongst black people, if we can talk about it, that is when we can talk about land. Instead, people will be talking about poverty. Then you ask people, what is poverty? Because when we are saying poverty, we are talking something that we need to elaborate. Because when you're saying poverty, umuntu thinks, okay, MAMA AFRIKA is talking about hunger now. Which those are 2 different things. That's why we are suffering as Indlu Emnyama. We are suffering from a poverty of the mindset. We need to fix it. Then we would understand why we want land back. Even umuntu will understand, because we would have now eradicated in the poverty of the mind.
Yeah.
It is a problem. You find an 18-year-old who doesn't know isiduko sakhe. Where are we going? And then it's okay, maybe it's because of these phones. Let me ask her something. Okay, my baby, what's your email address? It's sad. And we are living in a community like that. We are just a minority. Those who are enlightened, Nziki. You are a minority. Those who are academics. The most of Indlu Emnyama, which is African people, Ukude la siyakhona. Unless we start seeing izinto differently and eradicate this poverty of the mind. Those who went Uyolanda, those weapons of fighting the West, should be the one assisting. I always say this to my learned friends. Ukuthi, can we just not talk bad about those who are ignorant? Let's rather maybe try by all means, or would we educate them, whether informal or formal, so that we can achieve what we want as a black house. Otherwise, if we don't do that, we're not going to win. We are not. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I'm sure we will be calling you again for your part 2. Siyabulela umoya light, umoya bright. Once again, thank you to everybody subscribing, especially the members. Thank you for watching the adverts. We'll see you again next time.
Who are you when all you were has been diluted by lies and white lines cancelling out all that which has been written of your history? Why do you look at yourself as a mystery? Doesn't the sun shine because you open your eyes? Doesn't the moon stay situated within the same stars your DNA sparkles off? Your spirit knows that surely corner into e off. Buza umoya so you may return to being well off. Because spiritually you are rich, yet your ancestors cry because you are out of reach. But yours is to command all elements while God takes inspiration from the very mirror she looked at to become. Remember who you are and never finish just when they think that with you they are done.